My wife has been having an affair with an ex-boyfriend from 6 years ago, and I am completely befuddled. As soon as I woke up this morning, I confronted her about it and asked her if there was anything she wanted to tell me. She admitted to having been in communication with her former partner. Let me preface this by saying that our marriage has been quite rough over the past 6 months, and I will admit that I have not done my job as her husband to support her emotional needs, as I have been working non-stop. In January, I took the initiative to seek counseling in order to better communicate my emotions and feelings to her, and I remained in treatment for a total of 3 months after that. I'd say it was successful since we appear to have improved as a pair between March and April. The root of our problems is the failure to meet our financial and emotional expectations. I work as a programmer. It's important to me to provide for my family, so I work in a high-pressure, high-paying environment. Because of the nature of my profession, I would arrive home most nights, cook dinner with her and hang out for a while before locking myself away in my office to decompress. When we sat down for another discussion in April, we openly wrote out our expectations for one another, and hers included the requirement that I come to bed at the same time every night and be more present, on other things, pick up a bit more around the house, laundry, etc., etc. I took her advice to heart and made a concerted effort to change my behavior. I battled for the first month, but got back into the swing of things by June and into July, after which I was successful. Things appeared to be going smoothly until I left for some training in July. Everything seemed to come crashing down while I was away from the office. Despite the fact that she had overspent wildly while I was away, she had suddenly needed space, and the fact that I was away from her didn't help matters. She quit her stressful job without telling me, and I was pretty upset because she was just unilaterally choosing to do things that would have an impact on both of us. When I get back to her, she tells me that she was upset that I wasn't supporting her in doing what she believed was right, and that she had figured out what she wanted to do on her own. She drew up a wish list of everything she desired, without taking into consideration the additional burden I was feeling as the lone income in the family. We even went out to dinner to celebrate my birthday, but the evening turned into a heated argument about her and her well-being. If you want to read more about how I discovered the emotional affair, click here. The short version is that when I confronted her today, I got to spend 4 agonizing hours on the receiving end of trickle-truthing, or whatever it is called, before she finally admitted that she had been messaging him on and off for months. She told me that she still has feelings for him, like a soulmate pull, and that because we were on rocky roads, she had just continued talking to him. The long he has proposed to her. It became clearer as I went deeper into her story. Nudes had been emailed back and forth for, she claims, the last few months on and off, the most recent exchange taking place last week. She took a short vacation to see her mother in March, and while she was there, her ex-boyfriend picked her up on her last day before her flight left the next morning, and the two of them had breakfast together. He drove her to the airport, and she told me that they kissed goodbye before she boarded the plane to fly home. I'm completely befuddled. We don't have any children, yet I make approximately 85% of the household income. I'm not sure how a divorce and a breakup would work out in this situation. I'm completely terrified. I don't want to have to start over, but I'm not sure I'll ever be able to look at her the same way again. She is still in love with this man, and he is clearly still in love with her. I reached out to the AP fiancé and informed her of this. Of course, AP is denying the nudes, kissing, and other such activities. I'm simply a little taken aback and befuddled. Update. Well, oh, what an eventful day it has been thus far. The comments on my last article have been read, and I thank you everyone for taking the time to express your thoughts. The common consensus is that I should proceed with caution and reduce my losses. If she couldn't even walk on a gravel road a year and a half after we began dating, how could we ever hope to ever get over the mountains that would inevitably develop in a lifetime relationship like this? At the moment, I'm leaning more toward that option. I'll admit that I'm still a bit disoriented, but I'm making a concerted effort to find my way out of this mess. After that, my wife and I had a talk, during which I cross-checked what she was saying to me with what the girlfriend of the AP had told me. The majority of what she said matched up, except that the AP was vehemently disputing everything. A new piece of information had emerged. My wife had communicated with AP after confirming the dates of her trip to see her mother. I had spoken with her mother, and with the exception of the morning of her flight, my wife had engaged in the activities she had stated she would do with her mother while in town. His work schedule coincided, she had inquired, and it appears that it did, so they drove around and smoked weed and spoke, And then when he dropped her off at the airport, he inquired, "Where's my kiss?" She responded by explaining that she had met him in the middle, which he thought was amusing. She appears to be remorseful, and I'm confident that some of it is genuine. In fact, I was convinced that a lot more of it was genuine until she said that she has realized what she did, to which I responded by saying that the fact is that I practically paid for her to go out and kiss another person. She is emphatic that nothing more happened after the kissing. However, only she and AP are aware of what really transpired, and I've dug and probed, and the answer has always been the same. Nothing else occurred. Next, the following steps will be implemented. In my conversation with a divorce attorney, he estimated that it would cost me roughly $1.5K to have the documentation for a no-fault divorce made up. Is going no fault the better choice, or should I pursue the at-fault option instead? I don't have much proof, except that a screenshot of her snap streak and an image of the individual. And so I went online and found instructions on how to handle the 180, and I'm following them to the letter. She mentioned that she wanted me to feel angry, outraged, and all of the rest of it in order that she would know that I wanted this relationship to continue. As a consequence, I'm unsure of what to do or how to treat her on a consistent basis, since my wants fluctuate from 1 hour to the next. She keeps repeating "I love you" to me despite the fact that I don't feel the same way about her at the present. Is it okay for me to not respond in kind? Also, according to the 180, I should refrain from discussing or bringing up the subject of the relationship, the future, or anything else. That I should only bring it up when she is ready, because she should be the one driving the cart and putting in the effort. It is not my responsibility to force her to change. Not sure. I'm still a bit dazed and confused. Update 1. Well, my family, I've done it! I informed her of my desire to separate. As a result, I was subjected to what was arguably the most extreme gaslighting and psychological manipulation I had ever experienced in my life. Somehow, she has twisted things in her mind so that I am the bad guy for not wishing to try to reconcile with her, that I don't think our marriage is worth it. Whatever it is that helps her sleep at night, I suppose. When I woke up this morning, I found a text from her grandma waiting for me, in which she expressed how surprised she was to learn that my affection for her granddaughter was too thin to help us work through this situation. That I did not cheat on my wife, but that her granddaughter did. I completely acknowledge my role in creating the conditions that lead to my wife making this decision, but I did not force her to make the decision to cheat on me. In my conversation with her, I told her that I deserved to be with someone who did not cheat on me and whom I could entirely trust, and that her granddaughter deserved a partner who was going to trust her completely, and that I would never do so again. According to my doctor, I have trust issues for which I should seek counseling, since trust can always be rebuilt. I simply don't want to put in the effort. I'm aware of what I have to give someone, and I want to be with someone for whom I don't have to change, for whom just being myself will be sufficient and even appreciated. My wife is not particularly fond of any of the hobbies that I indulge in. We plan to draft a divorce agreement with her this week, hopefully. We are both young, have very little joint debt, no children, and no home to divide. This should be a rather basic process. I'll keep you all informed as soon as the documents are signed. I'm hoping for the best. Story note 2. The wife has been having an affair. My wife, 29, cheated on me 36 years ago with a coworker who was around 40 years old at the time. I was devastated. It was only when we received a STD that I realized what was going on. She had always made an effort to deny it. She even attempted to convince me that it was a result of previous relationships with other women. We've known each other since we were 18 years old. We never really talked about it, and I tried to brush it under the rug as best I could. The result was that we had a child who is now 4 years old, and I never really addressed the dishonesty. Now, about a month ago, I discovered that she was cheating on me with a new employee who is 47 years old. Her AP wife got in touch with me via text messaging, and things really snowballed from there. At first, she claimed that it was simply flirting through text messages, and after rummaging through her phone and backing it up, I discovered text that said, "Love you, can't wait to see you Monday." Even photographs of bands that my family and I would see on our outings were included. It took a few days for her to disclose that they only get up once a day at their place of business once I found out about it. Then it was revealed that they would go on strike if their company was required to travel for work. She said that they only went up 3 times, which I don't believe. When I found out about the current situation, I was shocked. The truth about the first affair has come to light. She claims that she had only been doing it for a month emotionally and that she had stopped after getting the STD. She's now attempting to be the perfect wife. She tells me anything she thinks I'll be interested in hearing. I just don't get how she can say she loves me, that I'm everything, and that she only wants to be with me all the time. Cheat on me with someone who is out of shape and old enough to be her father. On the other hand, as she puts it, she was in a bad place and I wasn't giving her the attention she needed. She says she was hesitant to speak to me for fear of being dismissed. I simply don't get how she can say how much she loves me and then turn around and do this to me again. I'm in love with this person and all I wanted was to spend the rest of my life with her, but now I have no idea who she is. She wants me to stay and try to work through this with her, and I am willing to do so. But all I can think about is how she didn't care enough to open up about her feelings to me for fear of being dismissed. But she wasn't afraid to open her legs for another man, and I can't help but feel frustrated. So I'm not sure what's going to happen, or how I'm going to even attempt to move forward with her or without her present. We're both working on IC and CC projects. Story 3. Husband left me for affair partner. My husband of 18 years recently left me for his affair partner. He initially told me around October 1st that he was having doubts about our relationship and felt like he loved me but was not in love with me. We started attending counseling, but he was still distant and cold. He placed a lot of blame on me, told me we had become roommates. We were still having, but he wanted to have it more. I was too busy with the kids. That he needed to figure out what makes him happy. That he needed to figure out what was more important, his happiness vs. the family's happiness. That we have nothing in common. That he feels lonely in our relationship. On October 25th, he told me he was going to rent a cabin to think about our relationship. He sat down with the kids and told them the same thing. The day before he left, we attended counseling, booked a follow-up session for in 2 weeks. I asked him to just tell me if it was done with the relationship, and he said I'm not done, I still want to work on things. I found out a week later that he was actually in another country with a woman he met online. The woman lives in the other country. He confirmed that he started an emotional affair with her in mid-September. It seems clear to me that he was hoping to not get caught and return home to his life. He returned to our town 16 days later, but did not return to the family home. He has rented a room a few houses down from our home. He has had one visit with our 2 boys, and during that visit they read the messages from his girlfriend in which they were telling each other that they love each other. My oldest daughter refuses to speak to him. They last talked November 3. She wants answers from him, but again, he just shuts down and struggles with communicating. I did speak to the women briefly on the phone. He had lied to her and told her that we had been separated months before they started talking. Ultimately, she didn't care about him lying. I have contacted a lawyer and have started the legal separation process. He has been clear that he plans on continuing with this relationship. Since returning, he has not been willing to have any conversations with me about the affair or lies that he told me and the children. He really struggles with having any hard conversations. He just avoids, shuts down, and looks at his feet. He stated that he is sorry that he did tell me about the affair before leaving the country. We do not speak in public. All of our mutual friends are not speaking to him. My issue is this: he continues to need my help with everything around the kids. He is constantly asking me their schedules, what do you get for Christmas. We end up talking daily by text because he can't seem to figure anything out on his own. I would like to go no contact with him, but don't know how to manage it. I also wonder if I should just play nice until I have the legal separation agreement in place before ending contact with him.